This episode of FineScale Modeler's new product rundown features HobbyBoss's Osprey, ICM's SdKfz 247, Italeri's Range Rover, and Dora Wings' Caudron Simoun.
New product rundown brought to you by Hobby Zone USA, your source for hobby storage solutions, hard to find hobby tools, and aftermarket modeling needs.
Welcome to FineScale Modeler's new product rundown, the video series detailing the latest kits. I'm Elizabeth Nash.
I'm Aaron Skinner. We lead off this episode with HobbyBoss's 148 scale MV-22 Osprey.
This is only the second time we've seen the Marine Corps troop mover in 148 scale plastic.
The previous one, Italeri's kit, had its origins in the late 1980s when the prototype first flew. It's been modified once to better represent an operational airframe, but it's not perfect.
The fuselage halves feature some of the finest recessed panel lines and rivets we've seen, rivaling Edward for quality. Note the raised lines, reinforcing strips maybe, on the rear. The two-part rear hatch is separate and looks like it's designed to be posable, maybe even movable, but you'll need to add the struts.
Opening that hatch will reveal a detailed interior, which includes walls and ceiling sections with stringers and frames, a cargo floor, stowed troop seats, radio, and other equipment in back. Up front, the cockpit features a floor with front and rear bulkheads and detailed side and center consoles, pilot seats, controls, instrument, and overhead panels. Behind the cockpit is the entranceway with more details. The doors are molded closed, but there are lines inside the fuselage that might allow it to be cut open.
Movability and posability key the Osprey's wings and engines. The former is divided into full-span upper and lower halves and can be rotated in line with the fuselage for an aircraft parked on a carrier deck. The same is true for the wingtip turboprops, which should be movable from vertical to horizontal flight position. Optional blades allow the big prop/rotors to be displayed operational, or stowed, a nice touch. The flaps are separate. The tail planes are molded in halves with more fine surface detail.
The long sponsons house the main wheel wells and the short gear legs. There's more detail up front in the nose bay, and the wheels have hub and brake details. Other features include a chin-mounted floor ball, antennas, radomes and refueling probe, and strakes.
In addition to the big windshield/canopy, the clear parts provide cabin windows and lights.
A small photo-etched brass fret has harnesses for the pilots and a couple of screens.
The decals and color diagrams provide markings for a single U.S. Marine Corps Osprey from Marine Medium Tilt Rotor Training Squadron 204 at MCAS New River, North Carolina.
The display options alone make this kit attractive. I can't wait to see how it goes together.
Next, here's ICM's 135th scale SdKfz 247. This is the second release of the kit and includes crew figures.
This kit represents the four-wheeled Ausf B version of the armored commander's vehicle used by the German Army.
The upper body of the open-top vehicle is one piece. Surface detail includes weld seams and hinges. The lower hull builds from the lower plate that doubles as the floor, and sides with separate hatches and fenders.
Underneath, the body sits on a frame with two-part side rails and separate cross members. Onto it goes axles with differentials, double wishbone arms, springs, engine, radiator, fan, drive shaft with transfer case, and wheels, with vinyl tires with nice tread molded on.
There's plenty to see inside, including the dash with decal dials, steering wheel, shifters, driver's seats, a bench in the back, along with a rack of radios. All of the hatches, including the viewports, are separate and have detail inside, although it's not immediately clear that they can be posed open.
Clear parts supply just the headlights. The rest of the parts here go unused.
The four figures include a driver, standing commander, and two radio operators.
The small decal sheet and color diagrams give four marking options: 3 gray 247s on the eastern front and an overall dark yellow vehicle in France in 1944. Color callouts reference Revell and Tamiya paints.
The detail looks good, and the posed figures make this kit a natural for a diorama.
The boxy shape on the front of the box here are the unmistakable lines of the classic Range Rover.
To mark the 50th anniversary of the British icon, Italeri has released a special edition 1/24th scale kit.
The plastic here started life as an Eschi kit in 1982, and Italeri has released it in a couple of versions since 2007.
The body represents the 3-door model. There are a few mold seams to clean up, but given that the tooling is nearly 40 years old, the body looks great.
This is a curbside model, so the only engine detail is the sump, transmission, transfer case, and exhaust, molded under the floor pan. It attaches to the frame rails with integral springs, fuel tank, axles, brakes, wheels, and vinyl tires.
Inside there are front bucket seats and a rear bench, sides with crank, armrest, and speaker details, center console and pedals, and dashboard. Optional parts allow the Rover to be built with either left or right-hand drive. The tailgate can be cut out and posed open. The front grille and mirrors finish things off.
All of the windows and lights are supplied separately.
Beautifully printed decals provide badging and a selection of European license plates.
I've always liked the rugged appearance of the Range Rover, and this kit looks like a straightforward build.
Dora Wings continues to explore aircraft from between the wars with a 1/48 scale Caudron C630 Simoun.
This French four-seat touring aircraft was used for mail delivery and record-breaking flights.
During World War II, it was enlisted into the French Air Force as a liaison aircraft.
The distinctive humpback fuselage with big square windows has fine raised and recessed surface details.
A full-span lower wing incorporates a section of the belly. Surface detail on the wings is restrained and fine. The ailerons, elevators, and rudder are separate. A resin rudder is included, but not mentioned in the instructions.
The interior includes a floor, wing spars, seats and controls, instrument panel, firewall, and rear bulkhead.
Ahead of the firewall sits an engine with plenty of extra detail. A chin panel and separate nose contain the power plant. The two-bladed prop fits into a tiny spinner. Spatted landing gear and wheels finish the airframe.
The windscreen and cabin windows are very thin and have sharply defined frames. Masks will make painting them easy.
A small photo-etched metal fret supplies seat belts, faces for the instrument panel, floor, and fuselage details.
Bright is the best way to describe the 4 liveries offered by the decals and color diagrams. In addition to 2 aircraft from the French mail carrier Air Bleu, there are red and yellow and green and silver Simouns.
Looks like a fun build of a cool plane.
Look for reviews of the Osprey and Range Rover at FineScale.com.
And you can see more new products in the April issue, on sale now.
Thanks for watching. I'm Aaron Skinner.
And I'm the one that you want. Oh, oh, oh.
Are the unmistakable.
You can't make a mistake, because they're unmistakable. Go forth.
I've always liked the rugged appearance of the Range Rover. This looks like a straightforward build.
And I'm Elizabeth Nash. No, I'm not. I'm the one that you want. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh. Whatever. Sorry.
I haven't spoken to another human being for about 48 hours, so...